you never know. Actually, it could become part of the school curriculum that how to behave socially online, not just with games, but just thinking there's a lot of things that people do not get taught in education that's really important that you need to actually lead a good life, whether it's in games, work, or whatever you do. And maybe we need to help people realize that the repercussions of the things that you say and do online or in real life and how they affect people, and really hammer it home, because it's much easier to say hurtful, toxic things online than it is in real life. And I think people need to be educated that this little barrier that they think they've got this super shield round, help them realize that the things that they say and do, somebody is listening to that, and it can really affect how they feel, to the point that they could get mental health problems, or feel like they want to commit suicide. If you really want to get that, that's how bad.
It's absolutely true. There are a lot of people who are, and that's the worst part, because you're saying, I mean, we talked about how people use games as an escape, to kind of, get away from the real world and then dive into kind of their own world where they're kind of, they can make the decisions, they can do what they want, they're free. But then they dive into a world where they're greeted by this again, and it's a horrible experience.
Maybe we need a global gaming guild where you have these, where depending around, you've got these people in these variety of games who are like the paladins, if they were a role-playing character, that could step in and try and break things up a little bit in a positive way, of course, always in a positive way. But the thing is, the more that you educate people, the more that you'll get more of the good characters who are ready to step in to help others when they see something, even if they don't know them.
I mean, I completely agree. We like a white knight kind of figure that comes down to help.
But it's difficult, isn't it? Because then if the paladin or the white knight can also become seen as the enemy as well. So it's a fine balance, isn't it? It's the hardest of them all.
I genuinely feel like this is like toxicity is an issue that will never be solved. It's gonna constantly evolve into, because I mean, it's hard to define toxicity too. For some people, it's not, talking verbally harassing each other. Maybe some people find that as friendly banter or something. They think that's okay. Yeah. But then for them, toxicity is something else when you grief them in a game or you do something. So it's also subjective, which makes it extremely difficult to figure out, how receptive people are to whatever type of, experiences they have online.
And it's also knowing when to do something about it, or when to just think, what, this is something I'm going to walk away from, as in, I'm not going to play this game for half an hour. I'm going to find a different lobby or a different set of people, because sometimes, fighting back can fan the flames to a point where you might never really get a good outcome. So it's also knowing which option to choose, if it was a game, which path to choose to lead to somewhere better as well, because you don't have to meet the toxicity with more toxicity or battle it back. Sometimes it can be just a case of, I'm going to choose a different path where I'm going to find a good place where I can play and feel happy about this.
I mean, one thing that I've actually personally tried to do before, I've tried to be humble in victory and gracious in my defeat. There's some people who I've played against in League of Legends where they've beaten me in a role, where it's obviously been my counterpart that has been the main reason why they've won, and I accept that, but they choose to talk down to me even though I've already lost. And I tried to combat that with by being nice to them and saying, hey, you know what? You're actually, yes, you are good. You were actually better than me. That's the reason why you won. And then he actually just was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And maybe they're just looking for that they're just that used to it may be, that people just don't know when the competition's ended, if you get what I mean. So the game's ended, but they're still in competitive mode, so they're just like never ending, trying to always win the next battle. When I say, hey guys, we're in the pause bit here, kind of, maybe next round we can have another go and see who wins that time. It doesn't have to continue all the way through all the time.